Welcome to the Combative Nerds Podcast. Join us while we break balls and try to outwit each other at every turn while debating all things nerdom and trying to make sense of this world. Look, I'm not gonna lie, it's a Herculean task and I'm not sure we have enough brain power to do so. At the very least, we can laugh and offend each other through the process. Thanks for sharing your day with us. Now on to our show. Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back. This is Raiderlance. We are again Distortion.
And FighterWizard 5.
FighterWizard 5, also known as the author of The Open Guard and Why I Like Being a Bottom. So, every episode, I'm going to get you. How's your Open Guard coming, by the way, brother?
So I have a friend that I used to train with, I'll just say his name, Braulio. And once he found out that I was gay, and he would shout across the mat, Bro, is that your husband? Yeah, man. Yeah, it is. Are you a bottom? Bro, this isn't the place for it. I'm just trying to train, dude. Okay, I'll just tell everyone you're a bottom. Then you gotta be fucking kidding me. So if he ever hears this, I'm sure he'll enjoy this because it's one of his favorite things to do. We don't get to talk that much anymore, but occasionally on Instagram he'll post.
Was he at the baby?
Fucking pictures of me. Say again.
Was he at the baby shower?
He was not at the baby shower. Okay. He was at her first birthday, though. Yeah, unfortunately, I would have immediately introduced you to him had he been at the baby shower.
Yeah, I remember a couple of Mexicans being there, but I don't remember any Brazilians.
He's good people.
Oh, that's
no, he's Mexican.
I thought, what was his name again?
Braulio Sebastian. Just give everyone his name.
That's Braulio. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Braulio Sebastian, owner. Yeah, he's a small business owner in Oceanside, California. He details cars. He's excellent.
Of course he details cars.
He owns a
detail car and lawn care.
Built when he was like, no, not lawn care. But no, he's like a property owner. He owns property in Mexico. Awesome. I always really admire him. He's always really impressed me.
That's awesome.
Also, we started at exactly the same time. We got our purple belts on the same day. And he's now a brown belt, and I'm a one-stripe purple belt.
Jesus. Is he the brown belt who was tapping out all the black belts?
Yeah, he's one of them.
Jesus. Could you imagine?
No, he's good, and he's good, and he's vicious.
Could you imagine what's that, 5-6 years of training, and you can take someone with 10?
Yeah. So I've been in exactly one, and only one, situation where I'd crucifixed a black belt. And I don't know if they were giving me this or not, but I crucifixed a black belt.
Got to interrupt you.
And I had it.
Got to interrupt you. Crucifixes that you got in the position, or you actually got them in the choke or the neck crank?
So when I crucifix, I usually finish through the arm bar, not the neck.
Interesting.
Both hurt.
Okay.
But I almost always get, so if I get that position, I almost always get the arm bar.
Okay.
The sub, not the choke. The choke's nice to have and it's annoying, but the arm bar that happens most frequently.
I always love the transition when you do the neck crank. I mean, that's just painful.
It's a shitty position to be in.
Oh, yeah.
And unless you get out early, it blows. But I had a black belt in my crucifix and the choke was tight.
Okay.
And I'd gotten more than just the lapel. Like I'd snuck almost like an RNC, and was in a good position in his arm. And I had the thought, like, am I going to tap this guy out in front of his students? I don't want to tap him out in front of his students.
Yep.
It's the only time I've ever been in the position to sub a black belt, but I didn't. If I could have, I don't know. I'll never know. But I didn't do it. Because I don't. Oh, dude, I don't want to do this.
Oh, you're gonna get manhandled after that. He's gonna put a clinic
immediately.
On you.
I'm sure
he has to.
Yeah, and then I softened up and like, oh, you got out. And then, of course, he fucked me up, but still.
The two... Sorry about that. I got water. I'm trying to make my voice better with less distortion. Goddamn you, Mike. Sorry about pushing the buttons, too.
Fix it in post.
Yeah, fix them both. Yeah, sure. Like, I know how to do that. The only 2 times I've ever been in that situation is the one time. All right, so I trained at Ultimate HB down in Huntington Beach, where Razor Rob McCullough and the next Tito Ortiz trained a little bit down there. Yeah. I did not know them. I did not train with them. One time Tito Ortiz did the wrestling when you do on the knee forward, the kips.
The shot?
Yeah, the shot. Thank you. I'm an idiot. And a dude was behind him with the bungee cords holding him back. And that was the first time I believed in chi. Like, I could just feel his force behind me. Go, and I was like, oh, fuck that. So I'm rolling. And they had, he had to be an amateur fighter. Weighed about 170. Looked like, who's that guy who beat the wrestler in UFC? Knocked up Misha Tate? I think he did. No. The wrestler, the WWE wrestler.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Anyway, he was a 19-year-old. What was that?
Brock Lesnar?
No, not. That's a good guess, but no, it was the other guy who was like the straight edge WWE wrestler, and he came in and he fought like a 1-0 and he lost.
Is he notably good looking?
That's not my call.
That's Shane.
No, not him. He has that gorgeous girlfriend of a wife. She's just all sorts of wrong. Anyways,
I'm sure.
I can't think of his name. Where was I going with this? Hot Asian girl.
You trained UFC. At HB Tito Ortiz.
Yeah. Anyways, he was that good looking of a dude. You know, cut, young, amateur fighter. Was fighting guys 20, 30 pounds over his weight, sparring. Absolute stud. Could do splits. Therefore, fantastic guard, right? So I'm at HB Ultimate, and there's this really awesome man. I wish I kept in touch with him. Persian dude, and he was just very welcoming and very friendly, and just like wise, and always tried to look out for me because I was a newer student. So one day I go sit there, and anybody who's never trained at one of these gyms, here's some advice: when you go in and you look at all the pretty girls, you have to assign which fighter they're dating. Right? Because you don't want those problems. So I go in there. I know Razor McCullough's girlfriend, gorgeous, tall Amazonian girl. I know, well, I didn't know Tito Ortiz's, but I figured out who was with who. And so one day I'm sitting on the mat and I look over and there's this, boy. And she looks directly at me and will not break eye contact. So now she's eating me with her eyes, and to the point where I'm getting uncomfortable because I'm stupid. And so then my buddy comes over to me and he sees me looking up like, oh my God, who's this girl? This is going to get crazy. And he comes and puts his hand on me. He goes, hey, how's it going? Hey, you want to roll? You want to? Like, nah, man, I'm just, trying to focus, trying to keep my head straight. He's like, yeah, you got to be careful here. I mean, if you want more than a preview, you could go to www. It's her website.
Damn.
She's an adult film star who was dating that amateur fighter that I almost Ezekiel'd and popped out. And I was like, I am so glad that I kept my eyes on the mat and off your woman, sir. Because that was the tightest Ezekiel choke I've ever gotten on somebody. And he was like, it was tight. And threw his legs over my head. And he didn't armbar me, but he got out of it. And that's the only time I've ever, like, yes, sir, I'm not trying to do anything to you.
So I was training one time, and one of my training partners, Erica, she beautiful, drop dead beautiful, and super cool, like former Marine, just a strong person. She ran her own personal training business. She started it from the ground up. Very cool. Yeah, just a really cool person. And like, she's one of those people that when, she walks into a room, you see it and like, you are a good looking human being.
Sure.
And she had
I've never
a
had
friend,
that,
like this Jack dude that was with her, also a good looking guy.
Okay.
Turns out he was a former Marine too. And like we trained together, and his arm drag was, he was teaching me left and right about how to do an arm drag.
Okay.
And we went back and forth with just practicing takedowns. And, I'm dying. He's dying too. Eventually, he was in better shape than me. He's like, yeah, man, these are exhausting. And, afterward, I'm hanging out with Erica, or maybe this is a week later. And I find out he is also an adult film star, straight porn.
Oh, jeez.
And like, naturally I looked. I'm like, yep, 100%. That's you.
Good for him.
The only thing I could, yeah, great for him. But the only thing I could think about was, how many asses have your hands been in? And like, why was I arm dragging you? Like,
did you wash up before you came to class?
Yeah, like I assume you probably did. You're a nice person. But wow.
That is Matt herpes is a real thing. That
yeah, well, I thought you meant someone named Matt Herpes. I'm like, man, what a bitch of a last name. that poor son of a bitch. Yeah, like a cool guy, and I'm sure if I knew more about everybody's social life, or if everyone knew more about everyone's social life, there'd be a few more like sidelong glances. You're like,
what kind of an asshole parent names their kid Matt Herpes?
Yeah, right.
Your family came over through Ellis Island, and you decided on herpes.
It's French. It's herpes.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it is French. That's where I heard it came from.
Nice dig on the French people.
Oh, yeah. Well, they deserve it.
It was cute.
I appreciate it. So, what else has been going on with you?
Well, so before we started, you had questions on to what level am I cool with divulging things about my personal life?
Yes.
And of course, we had this conversation before we started our cast. But specifically, you asked, is it cool if I ask you questions, or if it's like, if the fact that I'm gay will, that bothers me to say to that level.
Right.
And my response was, I'll always assume a position of neutrality before divulgence. And, once someone starts actively avoiding a definitive male or female pronoun,
of course,
you can pretty much assume, like, I won't play the pronoun game and say they. That's
right.
Amateur shit. And I don't say partner because I feel it's I know it's more popular now, but it's such a sterile term. It kind of robs the other person, at least to me, it robs the other person of their relationship.
Agreed.
So I'll say spouse. No one in the fucking world says spouse unless you're trying to avoid the gender, or at least not frequently, unless it's maybe a legal proceeding.
Yeah.
Your spouse was.
Yep.
Again, it's a neutral is insufficient, but it's a neutral term. So to answer your question, obviously, because I already said it, I don't care too much. And if you have questions about that, not you out there in the ether of the podcast, but you, Raiderlance specifically, that's fine.
Well, considering we've been in North and South together longer than me and my wife, I really don't think I have too many questions. I'm pretty comfortable with it.
I think I've had my ass on your ass on my face.
Sure.
Longer and more frequently than people I've dated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of another great jiu-jitsu story. So,
oh, great.
Yeah, no, this isn't the A side, but maybe we should do the A side, the downside of doing jiu-jitsu. I think that would be a great one.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Okay, sorry about the distortion, guys. Again, I'm trying to work on this audio, talking to Elgato, trying to fix this so you guys can have a more pleasurable experience. Smelling the crack of another man's ass. It happens.
Oh, Jesus, yes.
It happens. It goes through geese. And even if you're wearing those basketball shorts, there was a gentleman named Gerardo. I can't say it with gum in my mouth and roll my R's. Gerardo. And he had a restaurant job. Yeah. Long hours.
Yeah.
Long hours.
It's
in the kitchen.
It's hot there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the kitchen.
It's hot in the kitchen.
Yeah. Drinks, salt. Yeah. And so he was fantastic at jiu-jitsu. It was an absolute pleasure to roll with him.
Until
But I can definitively say I can remember the smell of salt on his ass. Like,
dude, that's rough.
That's dedication.
That's
where you're looking at another man's brown eye and you know
well, he had pants on.
The scent through the gi.
Oh my god, dude, that's disgusting.
We're long hours again, pulling overtime shifts. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, man.
I would switch gyms.
That's one of the downsides of jiu-jitsu.
I would so if I'm in that position, it's usually if I've overturned and they've stepped right and they're getting something like a Kimura.
Okay.
I think if I were you, I would have given him the Kimura every time.
I gave him everything. There's nothing left for me to give. Oh,
his ass is approaching me here. You tapped me out. I wasn't doing anything, but you still did, though. That's how good your technique is, sir.
Man. I distinctly remember the salt. Yeah. Oh, man. So there's that. There's mat herpes. I did not know because we trained at HB Ultimate with the filthy Brazilians who just dust mopped the mat after each roll.
Oh, yeah.
Only dust mop. No cleaning it at night with the ammonia and the zebra cleaner. Just dust mop the entire time.
Oh, the first place I trained, they were so clean and hygienic. They would dust mop, and after every class, and they taught 3, 4, 5 classes a day. Every time they would, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you're supposed to a little bit of bleach, right? I mean,
yeah, of course. Yeah, Jiva, he kept an immaculate place.
Yeah, I mean, those are the people. My instructor did used to pick up his phone while teaching, so
nice.
Yeah. So I mean, he was literally phoning it in, and I don't blame him. He was an ex-UFC fighter. I think he was like in UFC 5 or 4 or something like that. And
oh wow, okay.
He had his gym and he was trying to make his living while his family was immigrating. So good for him, but he just did not have the upkeep. Now, on the good side of Fabiano was he allowed one of his brown belt students to host for his church group every Thursday night jiu-jitsu classes. So that's how I got in. Real cool Mormon dude.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's how I got into it. And then during the summer, I would, when I was out of school, then I would go full time and I'd roll 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh man, it's so great when you can train 5 or 6 times a week. It's even better when you can train multiple times in one day.
Really?
And I can't now.
No, but I mean, I'm not tired, but you could do 2 hard sessions a day. That'd be rough.
Yeah, it is. And now so I'm 41 now, and I hurt my knee for the first time when I was 39. And no, I had turned 40.
Did you tweak or knee bar or something?
No, it wasn't a knee bar. I'm usually okay with knee bars. I don't enjoy them, but I don't usually get tapped by one because for my size, my legs are fairly strong. I haven't skipped leg day.
Sure.
And I can usually control the angle well enough. I mean, there's no technique in it, but still. Now, eventually that exact logic will fail, and it will fail dramatically.
Yep.
However, this time, I think I was playing open guard, probably De La Hiva, and I had a bad angle on my knee, and the guy on top of me got the right angle on my knee and just sat. And I thought I'd hit him in the jaw with my knee because I heard a distinct pop. And I was like, dude, are you okay? And he looked at me. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, I just hit you in the jaw with the pop. Like, I popped you in the jaw. He's like, bro, that wasn't me. That was your knee. And so I got up and I'm like, oh, this is a little shakier than normal.
Yeah.
So, and it's never been quite the same. I can't squat the same weight that I used to. And I haven't gotten off my ass and actually gone to a real gym other than my garage and started using their machines because it's just not the same. I can still roll. I can still play open guard, but it's taken now I have to stretch. I have to take care of my legs. Whereas before it was a bonus because you said it, years ago, and I still repeat it because it's true. Muscle is armor.
Yeah. Robert Kaufman, football player. Robert Kaufman, something like that. Raiders.
Oh, but I was thinking of, besides that, another downside of jiu-jitsu, and this directly relates to the mat, is when you see a hair on the mat and you know it did not come from someone's head. Oh, dude, pubes on the mat are disgusting.
Okay, so Mexicans, right? We have hairy legs sometimes, like me. And the hair can be a little curly, hopefully. But yeah, pubes on the mat. Oh, jeez.
They're distinct. You know when you see one. There's no mistaking it. It's just not.
Kind of savages roll without a cup and having it all
I roll
out
without
there.
a cup.
Really? What is wrong with you?
I usually don't get my nuts smashed.
Oh,
and
just for the fulcrum, it's worth it.
Well, I've already reproduced, therefore achieving my Darwinian goal. Okay. So I no longer need my testicles. But that said, I mean, granted, if they're in danger, like, you bet I'll give you that pass. Like, congratulations, your pressure is sufficient, sir.
So what FighterWizard is talking about is when somebody is trying to cut through your guard with their shin across your urethra.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the thing is, there's always downward pressure, right? So it is more of a roller pin over the boys than a slice the hot dog movement. And, it's always followed by the instep. That's the worst part. Yeah. They get the shin through, and that instep comes in and slaps the sack.
That's a good point. And that happened yesterday. And I happily gave him the knee cut. Like, nope, you can do it. I'll try to shoot my arm under and go for the underhook and do the Hail Mary of shooting to half, either failing and going to half guard or being successful and taking the back. Neither worked that well. I eventually got to a point where I got back to guard, but you can have that. It's not worth it.
That in the... Oh, God, I miss jiu-jitsu. There's just so many fun passes to do, but usually the ones that hurt are the best. Or you just see the pain on the person and they just relent. Yeah, you have the position.
There's the pain, and then there's the demoralizing pain. Like, usually, if I get... So I have some bad habits that I'm trying to work through, but if I get past and the other person did it in like this wicked dramatic way, or that way where either you get submitted or you get past, you're just like, that was superior to everything I could have done. That was all right, bro. That was nice.
I was playing checkers. You were playing chess.
Yeah, that was...
I see what happened there.
The first time I got cartwheel passed, which I've only been cartwheel passed like 3 times, because once you see it's coming, you're like, I have 10 minutes to stop your hips while you're in the air. But the first time it happens, you're like, oh.
Where'd you go? I know we could do that.
I've tried cartwheel passing since then. I had someone teach me a cartwheel pass, and once I understood how fucking long my hips are in the air, even if I'm doing it kind of well, like, anybody with long legs or long arms is like, no, thanks.
Yeah.
Unless my timing is perfect, which to date it has not been.
Yeah, I'm not a... Yeah, cartwheel pass. Well, no, I'm too short for that. There are a couple passes, but I can't do a cartwheel pass. My upper body's not strong enough for that anymore.
No, it's when you're not long on the... I mean, you're not long on your upper body. I mean, it's more a timing thing. So I'm told.
Well, yeah, I'll never know.
I haven't known yet.
Worst tap out you've ever gone through?
Like, in terms of pain or like embarrassment?
Oh, both.
Embarrassment, easy. Getting tapped out by a white belt because I let him... The classic mistake. I let him have a good position, and then he got me in an armbar. I'm like, motherfucker, I can't fight out of this. Like he's got it. And then I tapped. It was either that or break my arm, because white belt rage. They're not going to go slow into it. It's like, I'm going to shatter your fucking elbow.
Yeah.
And I tapped, and I felt so demoralized. I was like, fine fucker. And like, I'm not great at jiu-jitsu. I'm the first one to mention that. But I can usually move. Thank you. But I can usually move pretty well. And I can usually move pretty well against someone I have 7 more years of experience than. So then I just did that. It's like, and we transition, and now I'm on top, and here's my knee. So that was the most embarrassing, I think. The 2 most painful was when I was a white belt, and a guy got on top, and rather than rape choke me, he reached down behind my neck, grabbed my lapel, and put his fist directly on my larynx, and then pulled and pushed at the same time. My throat wasn't the same for like 3 months, not 3 months, 3 weeks. And I tapped super quick, but I'm like, it was so I didn't tap quickly enough because it took my brain a second to realize, like, hey, bro, he's going to shatter your fucking trachea.
Yeah.
So.
How big was his hand?
Like if you got fisted by him, you'd know.
Be devastated.
Yeah. Like you'd probably be in a wheelchair with a diaper for a few months. Yeah, he had large hands, and he outweighed me too. But more than anything, like it was a solid sub.
Well, yeah, but you're pinning the person's throat to the ground.
And I was a no stripe white belt. So I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but it's extraordinarily painful. Okay, yours.
I'm a fan of that joke.
And then so most embarrassing, then most painful.
The most embarrassing. I was rolling with this. Oh, where was he from? I think he was going back to Dominican Republic or Philippines or something like that. Real long Asian dude. And he choked me out with a knee to belly.
Bitch.
Knee to belly with a cradle.
Oh my God. Okay, to be fair, it super hurts.
No, it was worse than that.
Did it shut off?
You know how I told you, what was that?
Did he stop you from like being able to take a breath?
Yeah, he literally choked me out slowly. And remember I told you with the head and arm choke how you can just shh.
Yep.
You're like, put somebody to sleep. He was on me, and I had just learned the escape, which is to basically put your hand on the knee, push off to the side, trimp out.
Yep.
Right? Because he was so long, he was able to spin with me. So he kept the knee pressure almost like a Thai guard.
Nice.
Where you put that Thai knee guard. And it was like getting choked by a python. Every time you would inhale or exhale a little bit, it would stay down.
Yeah, that's
and
awful.
Then he pulled the head in almost like he was, come here, baby. Just it's going to be okay. It took me a minute to choke out.
Oh, that's
right?
awful.
It wasn't
the whole time
10 seconds. It wasn't, this is getting bad. This is I'm turning blue.
Wow. Because
a full minute of his knee right in my solar plex diaphragm cradling me.
Yeah, that's no fun.
That was, yeah.
That's a dominance move.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a grapevine or just grapevine's always one of the favorites to new guys because they just yelp in pain. Sorry for everybody who's not a jiu-jitsu fan. We're kind of nerding out right now. As for the most painful is my favorite move, which is the shin.
Yeah,
yep. Yeah. That comes out of nowhere.
Man, that hurts like a bitch.
So for everybody listening, what you do is they're trying to push away. They're scooting on their butt, scooting back. You climb up their leg and you put your shin across their shins, almost like a cross. And then you grab the heel or the ankle and you pull up, basically putting a fulcrum down on the shin. Mm. And it is amazing.
It hurts so bad.
Not will it only shatter a shin, but as my old instructor used to say, recognize, bitch. Because he would just slide that shin across mine. And I'd be like, oh no. And immediately push him off. Instantly the most painful. It's worse than a calf crusher.
Yeah, it comes on surprisingly quick.
Calf slicer, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A slicer you can take for a little while. So my professor now, like this one guy taught me a bicep slicer. I'm like, well, this is my new favorite piece of candy.
Okay.
So I kept trying to get
armbar?
No, from a lasso guard. You bait them into like you have the lasso and then you bait them into passing. And like you shouldn't
I
just
don't
try
know
to
this.
circle around when they have a lasso guard anyway. But you like
Okay.
if you set it up right, like it's like giving someone like here you go, free pass, and then it comes on super quick. It doesn't even feel for the attacker, me, it doesn't feel like I have anything, but for the other person, it feels like a bicep slicer. And I was like, I learned this cool new thing, and then my coach is like, yeah, no, it's just pain, so I wouldn't go for it.
Yeah,
like, okay,
no,
well, I'm a wimp then.
Yeah, those Brazilians are built different, man. They have and wrestlers, they have a pain tolerance, and I have a good old buddy. This is kind of related. He referred to himself as Night Michael. So he would wake up in the morning as Day Michael, and he would be like, okay, I can feel my legs. What time is it? Do I have my clothes on? And he would like have to, almost like the movie Memento, where he's like just has that lapse, and he like wakes up into his new day and has to reorient himself.
Great movie,
right? And so that was my analogy for when you are sparring, when you are getting choked out, you have to figure out, you have to take that step back and do a self-assessment. And you have to do this quickly. Okay, am I injured? Am I hurt? Okay, is this broken? Okay, and you have to do that self-assessment, right? So it's like when you're getting choked. Okay, does he have an artery? Does he have a windpipe? Okay, can I get another breath? Right? You know, with joint manipulation, you really don't have that the same way. But with jiu-jitsu, you know, you're crunching your ear. This is just pain. Is it going to rip a tendon or a ligament out, or am I going to pop an ACL? You got to do that quick self-assessment, and that's basically jiu-jitsu.
If I start thinking too much, then I will absolutely lose what I was trying to do. And the other person like, here's 4 moves. I'm like, wow, that was great. I wonder what I did wrong 3 moves ago. You fucked up. Well, like Kurt Osiander says, you fucked up a long time ago. Well, I was thinking of the other submission that just sucks is the suffocation. Not the slow suffocation, but like the instant, like you cover your mouth with something.
Yeah.
So there's this one guy who does it now at the gym, and he's pretty good at it he's like this just beast of a brown belt. And he'll get it from most angles, and he can usually probably get on top of you. And once he does, like he climbs up and either puts his shoulder, like, and pretty much stuffs his wet gi shoulder into your mouth and crushes your nose. And like, it's really tough to think through that, because at that point you have this primal reaction of, oh fuck, I can't breathe. Yeah. Not like it's difficult to, but I cannot breathe.
Yep.
And I had this he's probably one of my favorite, sorry to any professor who's taught me, probably one of my favorite coaches, because he was an absolute take no shit. Negative reinforcement works really well on me. And he always be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why did you fucking do that? Do this. But if you did something nice, he'd be like, dude, I almost fucking gave you your brown belt. He never said that. But he would be also complimentary if you got it. Great guy. Gabe Gonzalez. Love him. But one time he like smothered me really quick with his gi. And I tapped.
Yeah. And
then he takes the gi off my mouth. Don't tap to that.
Hold your breath. Yeah. Yeah.
It's that primal reaction, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's the jiu-jitsu equivalent of waterboarding. Yeah.
They're learning to breathe through something. I mean, that's a fine art I'm trying to teach my son, and he sucks at it. You're going to choke, you know? All right. You got 5 seconds if it's a blood choke. You got 20 seconds if it's an airway choke. Go out like a soldier. Now if it's a joint lock, forget it, you know?
Yeah. Tap. Like, you know what? Just, see if you can muscle it, see if you can twist it a little bit, if you got the luxury to try. If not, just let it go, man. It's not worth losing the arm or the fingers.
No.
Or the leg.
And the longevity of it, right? So
sure.
I had to stop training just because my body broke. My ligaments can't handle it anymore. I can feel my knees today after,
for sure.
Oh man.
Especially if I play open guard. If I'm top game heavy, then I feel okay. Yeah. But if I'm trying to do De La Hiva or whatever, like, I'll feel it.
Yeah. my peroneal tendons runs along the side of the ankle. Basically, I have longitudinal tears in them.
Oof.
Yeah, and it came from my improper posture when doing leg kicks. So I am not flexible. I can churn the hip over like in a Muay Thai roundhouse kick, but I end up torquing the kick. So with a Thai kick, I don't want to say it looks like a question mark, but there should be that fold in your leg where the shin's coming across, right? I can't do that. I can only go straight across, similar to like just what Boss Rutan would do. So what I learned is to step out.
Leg kicks are pretty terrible.
Step out and kick, and it works great if you have the ligaments of Boss Rutan. But if you have the ligaments of a 135-pound short male, your ligaments are going to go. So mine went, and now I cannot step on uneven stones without having to laser. So like I took my son rock climbing, and with rock climbing, the floor is all foam. Clearly, because if you're going to fall a couple stories, you want to land on a couple feet of foam. Just the unevenness of walking on those pads, like my ankles are flared up and can't jog the next day. I got to use my laser pads on them and all that. So,
well, for the love of God, don't take him to a trampoline park.
No, yeah, I won't even touch those things. I'm going to snap my spine. I'm pretty sure of it. So yeah, for all those people, train while you can, take care of your body while you can. What's that compound that people use for their ligaments now? The BC 154 or something like that? Your tendons and ligaments?
Yeah, but I can't remember it. I looked into it and I never ended up taking it. Yeah.
Well, better living through medication. I'm a huge fan. People are going to need it, whether it's just supplements or just the anti-aging. I couldn't imagine the lack of energy. And I'm not talking about just medications. It's the cryogenics. What are people jumping in? Those cryo freezer things now for like 5-6 seconds?
Yeah.
Saunas. Yeah. Like, if you want to stay healthy for a long time, couple things. Don't have kids. Secondly, take care of your body. Take all your supplements, drink your water, and do cryo and cold laser therapy, chiropractor, yoga. I remember a Thai telling me, I don't care, man. Once you get old, you just need to stretch. It's so true.
Yoga's so helpful.
So true. Helpful. Your joints are out of alignment. I bodybuilt for about 10 years before so I'm a moron. I decided that it would be a good thing for a 135-pound, good-looking young Mexican male to get into powerlifting because I was so small for it. I would squat twice a day and yada, yada, yada.
Dude.
Well, so I was at school and I got the lifting coach. I got in one of the classes at the rec center. Nice. And he was like, all right, let's teach you how to clean and press and all that good stuff. And so I would go 2 times a day, one day to work on form. And I mean, when I was squatting, when I was cleaning, it was with like greens, right? It was on the stairs just to get my form down because I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm not an athlete.
No, so, it's critical. That's a really complex lift.
Well, yeah, clean and jerk. I mean, yeah, it's rough and I didn't have the flexibility. So anyway, I get into that. I do that. I do some bodybuilding with semi-pros. I never competed. I never dieted in my life. So I was always a fat fuck. But I decided then to go from bodybuilding, which is to shorten and compress every tendon and muscle, and then transition into a highly explosive, flexible martial art. And I essentially am shearing the tendons off my bones because everything's just short and compact and your shoulders are rolled forward. And now I have to wear a posture shirt because my shoulders don't want to sit back anymore. So all this stuff just, builds up like plaque on your arteries. So you got to take care of yourself.
Can you address that through other exercises? Like if your shoulders are hunched forward, could you address it through something like bent over rows?
Yes and no. So I've been in physical therapy for about 6 or 7 years. And it's to the point where like I know what they're telling me to do. So your scapula, right? Your scapula and your front deltoid. Your scapula is supposed to sit back like a wing, stand like with your shoulders back and your thumbs back, right? So that is the proper posture so that your shoulder blades are not winging. No one stands like that. That's almost standing like an ape, right? Almost like chest forward a little bit. Your pelvis is supposed to be tucked and your shoulders are supposed to be back, almost pinching each other. No one stands on like that because of our posture nowadays. We're all hunched forward. We're in the game. We're playing games where we have our head down, desk work. So you have two things going on. For each muscle you have putting you into the fetal position, you have half the musculature opening you up. Right? So your pecs, your lats pull you forward. It pulls that shoulder out of its socket forward. That's how all the fighters do their guards. They, come forward like that. They round their cage, hands up, shoulders forward. You're protecting your chin with your shoulder, right? All that is stretching and elongating those small back muscles that you have.
Yep.
Right? So if you want to counterbalance the shoulder, you have to do two things. You have to strengthen the smaller muscles and loosen the bigger muscles. So if you have a tight chest from doing butterflies and from doing dumbbell presses all the time, it's your chest which is actually pulling, I forget which ligament it goes into your shoulder, but it's actually pulling your shoulder down and forward. Right? And so you can do two things. You can either massage the pec and loosen it, or you can tighten those shoulders, the teres major, the teres minor, the infraspinatus, to pull it back. So it's a counterbalance. And so
that makes sense.
I wrecked my left shoulder. I had to get Graston technique on it. I had to do 4 or 5 years of therapy just to get it semi-aligned. But I do one bag session for about a half an hour. My shoulders are forward. I do, 50 push-ups. My shoulders are forward, and I'm in pain again.
Yep.
So now I got to wear, not affiliated, but IntelliSkin shirts or virus shirts with the K-tape built in, just to keep the shoulder back during the day.
Inflammation, or injury accretion, but I assume at some point that it's going to happen. I'm guessing my legs are going to go because my arms are okay, which always sucks because my legs are they're a bigger muscle group, but those are always better than my upper body. Oh well. So what's your
you can start taking it easier. You can start lightening it, but what's the point of rolling?
Well, right? So if I just roll all the time, I do not learn.
Okay.
I'm super slow with this stuff, so I've recently started to change my training, the arrangement of it. So on Sundays, it's my favorite day of training because it's 2 hours open mat straight. So nice. I get there at 1, I stretch 15 minutes, I review my notes, and then I go into flow rolling. I'll flow roll for 30 minutes straight. I'll take a water break, but I'll flow roll for 30 minutes. If the other person also wants to flow roll, great. But if the other person does not, they're like, oh, what are you guys doing? What are you working on? I'm like, you know what? I'll work on what I'm working on. You work on what you're working on.
Sure.
So even if I get into a good position, like for a sub, I won't take it.
Good.
And I'll just try to continue. And if I find myself pressuring down or something like that, I'm like, you know what? No, move. You're supposed to be working on transitions and movement.
Good for you.
Then for the next 30 minutes, I'll review my notes and maybe focus on what I was getting into in flow rolling, and then I will drill. If I'm drilling something for an entire week, the same thing, great. But I will drill for 30 minutes. And then in the final period of time, I'll roll. And I'll see, if it got me anywhere. I probably should drill and flow, probably drill more. But yeah, I've stopped rolling during the week, and I try to only roll at an open mat.
There is something to be said that in certain jiu-jitsu classes, they would kick our butts. So we didn't have enough energy to muscle in the last 15 minutes while rolling. If you are doing flow rolling, if you're doing position drills, do you find yourself too tired by the time? Or are you intentionally tiring yourself so that you flow as opposed to muscle?
No, because I'll use muscle when I have fairly good stamina.
True.
It's always been kind of if I have no other benefit, that's something I've always enjoyed, is I have pretty good stamina. I can keep going.
Yeah.
So no, I don't run into that. Now, granted, if I get someone who weighs 20, 30 pounds more than me, and they're also much better, then I'm going to get fucking tired regardless. There's one guy I roll with who's like, I don't roll with him much, but he's my height, maybe a bit shorter, and he's probably a good 280, if not a little bit more.
Oh, fuck that fat guy. What the hell?
You know what? He's putting in the work, so good for him. But
he is
the first time we rolled together, I was like, so what are you working on? He's like, I'm working on top game. I'm like, that's cool. I'll play bottom. That is the last time I was like, what you working on? Cool. I'm going to work on this.
I hate rolling with just beer-bellied, ballish people.
Dude, I'm
awful.
I'm okay sometimes being playing bottom, but it's just
not on someone like that. I rolled with somebody who was 230. It is not fun.
No,
you realize your open guard can.
Oh my god! Yeah,
bend exactly more than
it. Like I went for close guard. I'm like, I fucking can't get my legs around you. Like my heels aren't touching. My toes have no chance. Like I'm maybe getting them past kind of your. I'm getting them to your kidneys.
Getting them to your gunt.
yeah. And just like even when I was down, like he can just crush me. So he got like kind of into a turtle position, and I turtled, and usually I can get out of it or get to a much better position after one of my friends showed me a pretty good move, and I just couldn't. Like I got folded like an accordion. And even while I was under, I'm like, and this is an excellent lesson in just sheer physics. Like,
yes. That happened to me too. Yes, this is physics. Size matters.
Yeah.
And then I assume he crushed your windpipe with his fist.
No, he did not tap me out.
Okay.
He's pretty new, but he comes with a significant advantage.
I hate rolling with fat people.
He's not fast.
I would rather take the salt liquor from Gerardo than to deal with just the flop sweat and the engulfing tsunami.
Nope, still going for the tsunami. Every time.
All right, that's fair enough. I mean, we all got our preferences. I understand. I was going to talk about real life Decepticons and how Thai lady boys and TJ hookers, they're not that far off anymore. Okay, so in Transformers Dark Side of the Moon, there is that Decepticon, Shebot. And I'm not this A-side, but next time. I want to deeply discuss, where's the line? How come some of the hottest women I've ever seen are men? So we need to discuss this. Here are a couple
I don't know
tips.
if we will discuss this. I think you will discuss this to me.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the tattletale signs. If you go out on a date with your girl and she comes over and she brings a fishing tackle box, that is a bad sign. If she comes over and has a roller bag, she's either a stripper or that's a bad sign. If you, in the morning, hear a small air compressor go off in the bathroom, that, my friend, is a bad sign. So we got along A-side. I think we should come back to this. I think it is noteworthy.
So if you want, we could, and this is definitely a part you can edit out. If you want, we can go with this, and you can watch me just stare at my desk, and we can just do B-side another.
What is wrong with what I said? This is a PSA.
I am not going to comment because I don't want to get Twitter fired or real fired.
We'd get fired for this?
No, I just work at a really inclusive company, and I've
Okay,
known
okay.
more than
I apologize.
a few. No. Fucking, no. Absolutely, we already agreed that this is a safe space to discuss, whatever topics we want. But I've known not more than a few, but definitely a few trans people, and
I think they're the gold standard now. That's where we're going.
Idea, but the one thing I want to preserve is the one thing I don't like in the bandying about, not us, but you can encounter this in, social conversation, is no matter what side of the line you fall on, and we've had this conversation too, you have to preserve the humanity of the person. You don't have to like that I'm gay, but I would ask on some level that there's that preservation and recognition of humanity. Now, sometimes with some people that'll absolutely never happen, but with people I disagree with, I try to at least remember that they're human. They might be stupid, fucking ignorant cunts. And usually if you disagree with me, obviously you are. But you're still a human being.
Right.
You fucking ignorant cunt.
But what about Transformers and
Decepticons? I have zero comment.
When I can go with my buddy to go pick a friend up, and she is a California 6, gets ready, and comes out a California 8, that's not right. That is fraud in the factum. I can't come out with, what do they call it, Cuban shoes and a roll in my pocket. I have no idea
what a Cuban shoe is.
It's a heel. I think they're called Cuban shoes.
They lift you up?
Something like that. Yeah, lifts. Huh. There you go, lifts. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do extensions.
That's right, you can't. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, God, fucking, if you could please do just like one extension somewhere. Get yourself a Padawan brain.
Oh, what are those samurai mag top knots?
Yeah, hair buns.
What are those called?
Man bun. I'm sure that there's a proper Japanese word for it.
Yes, it's a magnat or something like that. I can't remember. I apologize to samurai culture. Anyways, all right. We will pick that up another time. I have a bone to pick. I want to show you all the before and afters of adult film stars and movie stars, and just the not right what these Decepticons can do nowadays. Between the fake teeth, the fake hair, the lap and plaster, airbrushing. I mean, they're literally more
We're
fake
talking
than
like
real
the Instagram model. I mean, adult film stars too, but like an Instagram model where you put, like, with the right angle and the right lighting, etc., you go from a 4 like me to an 8.
Yeah. Well, okay, so proper positioning, angles. I hate it when the girls do the arms with the triangle on the side to push their hip in.
Didn't know that was
right.
a thing.
The beauty contestant. Yeah, beauty contestant positioning. You got your filters, but the mannequinization, is that a word?
Sure.
Of these women who are more fake than real now. It's a travesty.
Yeah. That's an unrealistic expectation for men and an unrealistic competition for women. In my opinion.
I agree about the women. I blame the men. We're visual creatures. We should throw water on it before we bring it home, or make them at least go swimming or at the beach, so we can.
It's impossible to get out of a pool how they're gonna look. And have I don't know how people in movies do it, but your body can still be amazing.
Yeah.
But you can't get out of a pool and be better looking than when you went in. Your hair's all matted.
Yeah. I mean, when I dated my wife, took her to the beach, and she had to show me baby pictures. Those are the two things that
your wife is objectively beautiful.
I required.
So I mean, let's at least just.
I thought it was a great joke.
No, it is a good joke, but just for the audience, your wife is objectively beautiful. So,
thank you. Yeah, I like him dumb.
She is not that.
Yeah, she fell for it. All right. Well, we're not supposed to go this long or talk about our spouses, so we should probably cut this. I'm probably going to have to take this to post. I don't see how we get this stuff played on Google or Apple. But you think so? You want to run with it? Okay.
We talked about jiu-jitsu for 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, seriously. No one's going to get into the lap and plaster and air compressor highlights. That's it. That's our show. Join us next time for episode 2, the B-side, where we discuss Kenobi, episodes 4 and 5. Please do us the favor and like, subscribe, share this podcast so we can get some traction. Once I get around to it, check us out on our socials. Combative Nerds on Patreon, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You know the deal. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next episode.